In this video, we are going to discuss volume of cubes and rectangular prisms, and the code of the skill is XHF on IXL. But before we start the video, we have recorded another video on the very basic concept of volume and how do we find the volume and why do we find that way the volume. So please click on this video. If you haven't watched that video, please watch that video first before watching this video. Okay, now let's start the video formally. Opening the example from here. Okay, here we have a rectangular prism, you can see, and we need to find the volume of it in this example. The key idea is very simple. Here you have a basic formula for finding the volume, which is the product of length, width and height. You need to multiply all of these three dimensions together and you will get the volume of it. As you can see that what they did, the length of this is 2.7, the width of this is 4.6 feet and the height of it is 1.4 feet. Right, so they have written all of these three dimensions of this, and now they are multiplying 2.7 times 4.6 times 1.4, and when you multiply this, so the final answer will be 17.388. Right, I would recommend by the time you are multiplying decimals, so don't worry about that, you can do it in your head, or if you can make it you can make a rough work in your copy. Please do not use calculator, otherwise your mental math will be not that good. Okay, but before I start discussing and practicing this skill, I would like to discuss why we are multiplying, why we are finding the product of length, width and height to find the volume. Why we are doing this? If you have watched my last video, we discussed the different thing in the last video. Let's see how they both are same. Okay, now in front of us we have a three-dimensional cube. You can see that this is a cube in rectangular prism, sorry, in front of me. You can see this from all the dimensions. Right, now if I want to find what is the volume of this cube, what I need to do, I have to count the number of cubes I have fit in this. Right, this is the basic concept, and if you count how many cubes are there in the top row, for example, so there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9 10 11 and 12. So there are 12 cubes in the top row. Similarly, if I move from here, so there are 12 cubes in the second row and there are 12 cubes in the bottom row as well. So 12 plus 12 24, 24 plus 12 is 36. That means this space can be filled with 36 cube. That means the volume of this shape should be 36 cubic units, right? But why we are multiplying the side? Just to make our work easier, what we can do, just look at this. We were counting the number of cubes in the top face, but is it necessary to count? How we can make our work easier? For example, just look at this. 1 2 3, we have 3 cubes in this lane and 3 in this and 3 in this and 3 in this. If I want to count them, I can do this way as well. 3 plus 3 6 plus 3 9 plus 3 12. But if you focus this, we are having the repeated addition here. 3 in this row, 3 in this lane, 3 in this lane and 3 in the last lane, right? So if you think that if we need to add all of them up, that means we are having repeated addition. We are having 3 total of 4 times, so we can also write this that 3 times 4, right? Because we are having repeated addition, we can use multiplication instead. So to find the number of cubes fit on the top row, we can simply find by multiplying this side by this. Actually, we are having counting, repeated addition, and since you are using multiplication. So the total number of cubes can be found using this concept of multiplications. 3 times 4 equals 12. But why we are multiplying the height of it? If you look at this, so what is going on? For example, you have 12 cubes on the top row, 12 in the middle row and 12 in the last or bottom row. For example, again you see, if you add all of these 12s, so again you are having repeated addition. 12 plus 12 plus 12. So you can write 12 a total of 3 times, multiply by 3. right? So the answer is 36. So as you see, whenever we are having actually we are counting the number of cubes in it, but multiplication is helping us to count easily. First we are counting the number of square cubes in the top row by multiplying length with width. Then we are multiplying that product with the height to multiply to find the total number of volume that have been fit in this figure. Okay, so I hope you have made sense of it. Now we can use the formula simply by multiplying the three length, width and height of the given rectangular prism. Right, now come back to the practice and let's practice some question. Okay, if you have this, you can know that we can simply multiply the three sides, and you can simply multiply. I will just guide you how you can do this in your mind without using calculator, but do not use calculator if you cannot do this in your mind. Just use your copy and do some work in it, right? For example, if you want to multiply 2.1 with 1.3, for example 2.1 times 1.3, instead of multiplying this, I would move one decimal to right on the both numbers, for example. So it will become 21 times 13, right? So 21 times 13 you can do in your head. 13 times 10 equals 130. 13 times 20 equals 260. And then one more 30, so 260 and 273. So the answer is 273, but we moved 2 decimal to the right. So in the answer I have to move 2 decimal to the left. So the final answer for what is the multiplication of this? 273, but I moved 2 decimal to the right just to solve it. So I have to make again repetition. Then I will take the decimal from here to move it from here to back to decimal places. Because I moved to right, then from the answer I have moved decimal to left. Right, the final answer is 2.73. Since this is 1, when we multiply this 1, the answer will remain 2.73 cubic meters. I hope this is a very simple, and if you try and if you train your brain for doing this, you will be doing this faster and faster. So please practice for mental math so that you do not use calculator in markets and anywhere, and by the time you are doing papers you don't need any calculator for it. So the final answer is 2.73 cubic meters, right? Okay, the next is 1.1, 1.1 and 1.1. Simply we have to move one place to right in all of these three. So then 11 plus 11 times 11 times 11. So 3 times 11 is what? 11 times 11 is for example you can multiply using your copy or your mind. 11 times 11 is 121, and then that 11 times what will be the answer? 11 times 11, 121 times 11, it will be something like 1331, for example, or 1331, and we have moved 3 decimal places to right. So in the answer I have to move 3 decimal places to left. 1 2 3, so the answer should be 1.331, isn't it? Yes. So the final answer should be 1.331 cubic inches, right? Okay, the next question, let me change some questions so that we can cover all type of questions we have in this skill and you do not have any problem solving this. Okay, in the later in this skill, it is providing you, it is changing the technique of questions. So I am discussing this in this video as well. The volume of the rectangular prism is 151.2. This is giving you the volume. Now you are not supposed to find the volume because it is given in the question. And what you are supposed to find? You are supposed to find the value of this variable d, which is unknown. 2 sides are given and volume is given, and you are supposed to find it. So just to explain this, I am opening this example in front of you. You know the formula to find the product of all of 3 dimensions. So putting the values, this is the equation in front of you. Volume equals length times width times height. Now put in the values. Volume is given to 151.2, so we have replaced it with its value. Equals to sign is on its place, and on the right side, since you don't know the length of the given prism, so just put variable which is given, and you can use any variable or anything you want. On the width, which is 4.2, which is given 4.2, and the height it also given to 9 meters, so we are written 9 here. Now this has become an equation, and you can solve this equation to find the value of the unknown we have, right? First, just multiply, solve this side. 4.2 times 9 equals 39.8. Now, since to find the value of D, you have to separate it on the one side of equation, and it is having 39.3 with it, so we have to remove this from to the other side. Since it is being multiplied here, so what we'll do? Yes, you better know how to solve equations. To separate D out, we have to divide this on the other side of equation. So 151.2 divided by 38.8, and you can simply do this, and your answer will be the 4. That means the value of D is 4. So this is the same. If you know how to solve equations, if you don't, please revise that skill. You will better understand. Again, the same type of question is given, and again I will open the example to understand or explain to you. Again, like this, we have equation and we are putting the value. What is the volume? Volume is 19.2, so putting the value of volume to 19.2. Then the length is 4. From here we can measure, so the length is 4. We have written 4 instead of length. The width is not given but written m here, so writing m. You can use any other variable if you want. Then the height is 1.2 meters. Then the height should be 1.2 in the equation. Now we have equation with one unknown, so we can simplify it to find the value of it. So 4 times 1.2 is simply 4.8. Then we have to divide this on the other side of equation. So dividing this will give us 4. That means the answer of m is 4. So the rectangular prism is 4 meters wide because the width is not given. So 4 is the width of this rectangular prism. So I hope you have understood this. Practice and understand with your mistakes if you have any confusion, and please mention if you have still have any confusion in the comments so that we can guide you again. But I would request you, please try it yourself first.